All right, so we're heading downtown. We just left a property that I was really disappointed in, but we're going to be driving over to a property that I'm in the process of buying. I want to talk to you about that because this has been a difficult situation for me. So I literally have about $2 million to put down on a $5.5 million building. But because the building does not cash flow, the banks are having a hard time with the financing, meaning that they don't want to lend me the money on the property. You know, I wanted to take it down on my own. I don't like to bring on partners because sometimes partners, they're not going to see what you're doing. They're not going to see how hard you're working on stuff. And really, I like to answer myself a lot of times. But, you know, I might need to bring on partners on this deal. I might be having to raise what is called, you know, extra money to do a syndication deal. I'm hoping that I don't. To me, this is like an easy peasy deal because literally all you got to do is give me the financing. I'm going to give you $2 million down and then I finance $3.6 million. I've got great assets. I got great cash flow. It's a zero problem. But banks are very linear thinking. Like if you're a banker out there, like they think one way. They don't think like investors and they're like, oh, okay, the building's not cash flowing. And here's the funny part. I actually went to the owner of the bank, not the owner of the bank, but the company who actually owns the property is a bank. So the bank is the tenant, the bank is the seller. And they're like, yeah, but we can't give you any special criteria. I'm like, I'm not asking for special criteria. I'm just asking you guys to sell a property to me that you're looking to sell. And it's like, well, it doesn't meet our underwriting criteria. Okay, so what is an SBA loan? Does it meet your underwriting criteria as an SBA loan? Like, I'll occupy 5 floors. And they're like, well, you know, do you need 5 floors? I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'll need 5 floors. If I'm going to meet the requirement to occupy 5 floors, then that's all you need, right? But bankers only understand one thing, and that's how you structure things. The funniest thing is, if you really know how to work with bankers and you're a developer, a lot of times they'll just loan you money foolishly because you speak their language, right? It all boils down to speaking someone's language. And I'm just saying, this is what it's going to be. I'm not getting creative on it. I'm just like, this is an office building, and we're pulling up to it right now. This is Bach Financial Building. This is the property I'm in contract right now, and I want to show you guys why I'm buying it. You guys can understand, you know, what the potential is in this property and why I'm buying it, right? And you can see how busy it is down here. I'm going to get this freaking deal done. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get it done, but I'm going to get this deal done. I'm determined to get it done, right or wrong or indifferent, you know, I'm determined to get it done. It's a beautiful building. I've outgrown where I'm at right now. I was outgrown when I got there because I'm renting space from somebody else out here locally until I found the property that I want to be in. This is the property I want to be in, and now I'm having a problem with the loan. The loan is the hardest part in real estate, right? Especially with commercial properties, because here's the funny thing is, none of these properties ever cash flow, so you got to get super creative, right? Well, how can you get creative with a bank who thinks like a banker? You can't. You really can't. You know, I tried that today. I felt like, hey, let's call the head guy. The head guy thinks like the low guy. They all think like bankers, right? And so that wasn't going to get done. So now maybe I got to call somebody else. Maybe I got to call the head guy. I don't know. But we're going to check it out. I wanted to come down here and figure out, you know, how I'm going to get this thing done, right? Do I have to call my partners? Do I have to call guys that I know who got a bunch of money? They're going to require less information from me than a bank. If I'm only $3.6 million short on the deal, and if I got 7 guys to kick in $500,000 a piece, then I'm there, right? That's 3.5 million. 500 times 7 is 3.5 million. I'm $100,000 short. I could find that real easily. But this is why I like the building. We're right in the heart of downtown. We're on top of the parking garage. We've got this little structure right here, which could be a cool dog park, right? We've got some cool things that we could do right there. It's a beautiful property. We're in a great location. This is a property that like I love. I want it really bad. Sometimes you don't get what you want, but if you're determined, you do, right? And I'm determined, and I just got to get more determined. Sometimes you're not determined enough. And so let me tell you about why I want this building, because this is going to be my headquarters for my office while I'm out here in Kansas City, right? And for me, it's a legacy play. Like this building, to replace it, like in today's market, is 50 million bucks, and I'm just throwing that number out of the sky. Comment below on what you think it's going to cost. I know they just renovated this property because I walked the whole thing. This is the Mark Twain building in downtown Kansas City. So we're on Baltimore and 11th right now. We're going towards 10th and Main. This property sits on 10th and Main. You can see like it's in an A+ location. It's all about location, location, location. Real estate, it's also about parking. We got 61 parking spots, 35 on the top, 26 on the bottom. I think that's 61. You got this nice big building next door. You've got extra parking all around you. They got a parking garage here. Again, we're in an A+ location. Like you couldn't get a better location. See right down here, this is the entrance for the bank. This is another entrance for the bank right here. You see all this nice, beautiful, old historical architecture. They've even put the pigeon things up for me so I don't have to. You are right down by the town pavilion, which is right here. Now, one thing that could happen, which would totally be awesome, is I currently have a property in Vegas. If you haven't checked out my property in Vegas, my first property that I bought with an SBA loan, check that video out. But that was in 2013, now 2022. But we're on Main Street in downtown Kansas City, 10th and Main. That's the Power and Light District right freaking there. This is the building right here. This is not attached to my building. I wish it was. You've got a beautiful beautiful building, right? You got the banking center hours right here. You've got all this cool stuff all the way around here. How's it going? You've got extra parking. This is the Commerce Bank building right here. You got extra parking right there. You know, I'm determined to get this thing done. And the answer is, there's multiple ways I could do it. I could go and do a syndication deal, and I could say, hey, you know what? Are you an accredited investor out there? Do you want to invest? But then, like most people who are accredited investors, they may have $50,000 or $100,000 to put in, and I don't want to call 300 people, whatever amount of people that is. You know, I don't want to call that many people, 36 people. I don't want to call those people. I want to call people that I know, people that who trust me, who know that I know what I'm doing to get this deal done. But really, I just think it's a no-brainer, because with SBA financing, this building is 73,000 square foot, right? I can occupy 35,000 square foot. The first floor will be a ping pong hall, right? Just because we're using it and occupying it doesn't mean that we have to actually have our whole business in there. It could be for expansion for whatever purposes. But sometimes that doesn't pass the bank smell test, but really it should, because, you know, when I first bought my first property with the SBA loan, that's exactly what we did. We took the top floor, ended up getting the bottom floor rented, and then after the bottom floor was rented, I refinanced it to a conventional loan. But banks don't want to sell stuff that doesn't cash flow, that doesn't cover the debt service. They have a thing called the debt service coverage ratio, and they want that to be at 1.25 or at 1.1, and that means that that debt will cover the note. Well, guess what? This is the hard part that I have trouble wrapping my mind around. The owner of the property is a bank. They understand that it doesn't cash flow. They know that I'm willing to put $2 million down. So if I'm willing to put $2 million down, if I'm willing to buy the property as is, no repairs, no nothing, no this, no that, then why aren't you gonna finance me? Oh, well, it doesn't meet the underwriting criteria. And the exact answer I got from the head individual was, it doesn't cash flow. No kidding. Like, you're in the building. Like, if that's the deciding factor, let's skip all the BS. Let's skip all the BS and say that, yeah, it doesn't cash flow. No kidding, it doesn't cash flow. That's why you guys are selling it. It does not cash flow. But why doesn't it cash flow? Because it's vacant. So if I occupy 51% of the building, it's gonna cash flow, right? I've got several companies that I could put in there. We don't need all that space, but the numbers make sense, right? The numbers make sense for us. So this property is losing $250,000 per year. So let's say I got to carry $300,000 per year. I can float that. I can carry that. It makes sense to me. I'm willing to do that. No problem. I'm willing to sign on the dotted line. I'm a brick when it comes to the financing world. So for me, where I'm at in my life, it's very frustrating that I can't talk to the right banker. And maybe I'm frustrated with myself too, because, you know, I know if I was speaking the banker language, like where I gave them the spreadsheets that says, oh, we're going to put this tenant over here and this tenant over here, that don't exist, which most developers do, which I don't like to do, then they'd probably give me the financing. So comment below, would you do that? Would you raise private capital? Would you continue to go down the bank financing route? Like, I really thought that the best trajectory through the front door was getting this bank on the hook to do the deal. And I'm flabbergasted that they're not willing to do that. Let me know what your thoughts are. We're gonna get in the car. Let me know what you think about the property. I love it. We'll check you on the next one. Peace.